This video is on the new location feature in Boardingware. So the Boardingware has a field that shows where a student is physically located. So if you look underneath their portrait, there's a gray box and that gives them their location. For the most part, students would be signed in. That's sort of our default state, and they could be assigned to a dorm or particular place on campus. If they are traveling or away from school, if the location has been put in there, it will show up in this field as well. So probably our biggest use of this location is for students who are traveling around in the evenings for either privileges or going to the Bella Park Library. So if I wanted to make a student on his way to the library, I could either click on the little circle in the upper right hand corner and go up here to locations, or of course I can pull locations for his drop down menu, and here I can place him on his way to the library. This optional transit mode allows us to have him have to be checked in. So if I toggle this, this means someone's expected to check him in when he arrives there. And so he's what's called in transit. So if I hit start transit, we see he's on the way to the library, but he's not there yet. And someone will have to check him in, a supervisor will. If I click a few more students who are going to the library, I can do the same thing. I can say location, search, and then put in the Savoy Library. And again, I can make them in transit so we know they're on their way. So if you're in the library, you can see what students are heading towards the library already. And when they arrive, you can check them into the library by again putting on their locations, and you can see the default is the library. Save. Now they're in the library. Of course, they go away from the transition filter. And when the student arrives, the same thing. I can go to his location, click him in, and save. And now he's in the library. I'm going to get rid of this filter here, but now you can see all the students in the Silver Library this tonight. And as they go back to the dorm, it's the same thing. So these 3 students are ready to go back to the dorm. I can give them the dorm they're heading back to, Savoy. Again, I can put them in transit so people know they're on their way. And now they're in transit on their way to the dorm. Again, if I get rid of the Savoy Library filter, we can see there are the 3 students in transit. I'll get rid of this filter. And if we want to see where students specifically are, I see there's 6 students in the library. This is in the sign in menu. And there are the students in the library. Okay, I'm going to send them all back. I'll just click up here, select them all going back to Savoy Dorm. And transit again, just so the Savoy Dorm knows they're on their way. So now that I'm here, I can see all the students coming back. As they return, I can check them in back into the dorm. You can either do sign in or the dorm. It doesn't particularly matter. The dorm's default. So I'll just do that. I can do these 2 students, sign them in. Notice if this student hasn't returned yet, I can get some information about him by clicking on this. I can see it's 11:31 we signed out. And again, this just gives you a time reference. So if it's 15, 20 minutes, you might start getting worried about him and try to locate him. But finally he returns and sign in. So this is a location feature. It works well with the sign in and locations, and it's just another tool for us to help us keep account of students, especially as they travel around in the evening. Thank you very much. Goodbye.